Think of strategic competition today not as armies frozen along borders, but as movement. The steady strategic movement of goods, energy, and influence. Increasingly, power revolves around who controls trade and energy corridors. China, Russia, and others are advancing alternative trade routes that challenge long-standing Western dominance. And the old maritime choke points, Suez, Malacca, once symbols of control, are now seen as risk points. Disruptions there can ripple across continents. That's why land bridges, rail networks, pipelines, and even Arctic sea routes are no longer peripheral projects. They're central to global politics. In this evolving great game, geography is not just a feature on the map, it's leverage. Pakistan sits squarely in that conversation. Positioned between South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, it has long described itself as a bridge. Now it is trying to operationalize that claim. Its flagship initiative is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, launched in 2015 as part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. CPEC links China's Xinjiang region to Pakistan's Gwadar port through a network of highways, rail lines, pipelines, and port infrastructure. What began as an estimated $46 billion package has grown to around $62 billion by 2024. Islamabad presents this infrastructure as the backbone of its connectivity ambitions. CPEC is far more than an economic corridor. It functions as a strategic artery, giving China a relatively secure overland route to the Arabian Sea. For Pakistan, the calculus is twofold: attract much-needed investment and position itself as a trade hub for Central Asia and beyond. Pakistan's ambitions are unfolding alongside a wider regional race to build alternative corridors. India, Iran, and Russia are advancing the international north-south transport corridor linking the Indian Ocean to Russia and Europe through Iran and the Caspian Sea. Meanwhile, the middle corridor, stretching from China across Central Asia and the Caucasus to Turkey and Europe, has gained renewed attention as an alternative to routes passing through Russia. Another announced India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC, backed by India, the United States, the EU, and key Gulf states, aims to connect Indian ports to Europe via the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel, combining maritime and rail infrastructure. Turkey promotes its own connectivity vision through trans-Anatolian rail and energy links, while Gulf states are investing heavily in port and logistics infrastructure to anchor east-west trade. Even the Arctic Northern Sea route is emerging as a seasonal alternative between Asia and Europe. In this crowded field, corridors are not just infrastructure projects. They're instruments of influence, shaping which states sit at the center of trade flows and which remain at the margins. What's striking is how explicitly Pakistani leaders now present this international corridor-driven approach as a central strategic pillar for the country's economic uplift and long-term development. Communications Minister Aleem Khan stated in 2026 that by leveraging CPEC's successes, Pakistan is opening high-efficiency trade routes for Russia and the landlocked Central Asian republics. He described new integrations via Turkey, Azerbaijan, Iran, China, and a northward extension of the QTTA Pact as representing the dawn of a new era in regional connectivity. In another statement, he referred to Pakistan as a strategic transit hub, offering overland links from the Arabian Sea to Russia and Central Asia. And this is not just rhetorical positioning. The government is investing in missing infrastructure links, such as the north-south M6 highway in Sindh, and developing facilities, including a 100-acre terminal at Gwadar intended for Central Asian states. The message is consistent. Pakistan aims to recast itself as an economic bridge linking South Asia, Central Asia, the Middle East, and wider Eurasia. Of course, corridors exist only if goods actually move through them. Infrastructure without logistics is simply concrete and steel. In Pakistan's case, the National Logistics Corporation, or NLC, provides a practical example of implementation. NLC operates heavy-haul transport and multimodal routes across borders. In one instance, 8 NLC container trucks carried goods from Karachi to Tashkent and Almaty, distances of roughly 3,000 to 4,600 kilometers, reducing transit times by an estimated 70 to 80% compared to earlier routes. The organization also helped operationalize the Islamabad-Tehran-Istanbul corridor, cutting overland delivery times by around 80% compared to sea freight. Government officials cite these collaborative efforts with countries such as Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan as evidence that Pakistan is no longer merely a transit territory, but an active logistics hub. The distinction matters. A passive transit state collects fees. A proactive hub shapes flows. The broader pattern is clear. The modern Great Game is driven less by territorial conquest and more by corridor construction. Pakistan is attempting to position itself as one of the pivots in this emerging architecture, building, joining, and operationalizing multiple routes while empowering domestic logistics capacity to sustain them. Whether these ambitions fully materialize will depend on regional stability, sustained investment, and the reliability of these routes. But the strategic intent is unmistakable. Transform geography into connectivity rather than contention, and place Pakistan at the crossroads of Asia and Eurasia.